So Gaffer, after the chairman alluded to signing a new 3-year deal with the club in his pre-match to Millwall, we're here to formally announce and to interview you following the announcement of your 3-year deal with the club. How pleased are you to get this over the line?
Yeah, listen, you know how dear the club is to me. I've been here now, I believe it's 15, 16 seasons, and this is my 6th season, 5 full seasons as manager. And there was talk of it. Obviously, I trust the chairman in terms of offering me a new deal, and I woke up on Friday morning to an email to state the terms and the longevity of the new offer. And I received that because he's currently away on business, I believe at 25 to 5 our time. I woke up at 5:30 our time, and it took me 2 minutes to reply with an email stating deal. So that's how we work. I've worked with him closely for many years, and it doesn't take long for me to agree a deal, as does it not take for him on his part. And to be a part of this football club for a further 3 seasons as a minimum, because I allude to the fact I'll happily sign a 5-10 year contract because of the love I have for this place. So to get that over the line now and to get a bit of security for me and my family is amazing.
So you allude to the chairman there, and obviously it's well documented and it's evident for everyone to see that you have a special relationship with him. Over the years, he's been almost a mentor to you throughout your time, from being a player at the club through to assistant manager, academy director at the same time, and now on to being arguably the most successful manager in the club's history. How much does he mean to you?
He's more than the chairman to me. He's more than my boss. My relationship with him is far more than just this football club. He's been to my children's christenings, he's been to my weddings, he's been there for my mother's funeral. He's a special person, and I've got to say, what he's done for me in this year alone shows the measure of the man. What he's done for the personnel at this football club shows the measure of the man. Like I said, he's more than just a boss. Yeah, he's a massive part of why I'm at this football club, why I got given the opportunity at the age of 30, because not many men who have had no experience would be given the luxury of managing a side in the National League. And he trusted me, and it could have been my first and last job, but the support I had with him, and you see the photo at the end of the game at Wembley, shows you everything. Shows you where we're at as a relationship, and then everything that we've created in that time since I've been manager is massive. And yeah, I hold him in high regards, most definitely.
So you talk about that email that you received. It's early in the morning, and it took you 2 minutes to reply. Did you have any chance to discuss that with your wife?
Listen, Lauren knows my relationship with the chairman, my love for this football club. She's a massive part of it, as is my mother-in-law, as is my 2 children. They've bought right into what we're doing at this place. I allude to it, and we all allude to it as staff. This is like a dysfunctional family, and the love and care that we have for each other is massive. And yeah, I didn't need to discuss it with my wife. Lauren knows exactly what I feel about this place. If I woke her up at 5:30 to discuss a new contract, she probably would bit my head off. But in fairness, I spoke to her that morning. My little one come downstairs and said, "Daddy's just signed a new 3-year deal." And then I didn't have the luxury of telling my wife, because by the time I got in the shower ready for work, he had already told her, and she's a little bit upset that I hadn't made that known to her. But yeah, she's a massive part of this football club, as am I. And to have the luxury of taking this club forward with the likes of the chairman, Charlie, for the next 3 years is massive for myself.
So you've been on a massive journey with the club. You walked through the door, I believe, in 2005, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe your first game was Chatham away. At that point, you go to Northwood on loan, and then AFC Wimbledon come calling. You have 4 amazing years at Wimbledon, at which point you're still an academy coach with the club, and you graduate to become the academy manager. You return to the club midway through our promotion season, playoff promotion season in the Ryman Premier, We get into the Conference South and you soon become the assistant manager. We get promoted to the National League, and forgive me if I'm rambling, we find ourselves in a tough spot. Like you said, the chairman puts his trust in you. It's our first season at National League level and we're fighting for our lives. Where do you put that achievement in all your achievements since your time becoming boss at the club?
That's some history, right? Listen, I walked into this place when I was a youngster, 19, 20, and I remember the year because it was your FA Trophy year, and I remember the personnel within the team, and I thought I was good enough, and that wasn't the case in terms of the manager's thoughts. And I went away, like you suggested, to Northwood, and then on from there. Then I was working as a removal man, and I remember getting the opportunity to come in and coach, and it was always something I wanted to do to stay in football, and the chairman alludes to it. I might not be a full-time footballer, but I'm full-time in football, and that was something that I wanted to do. Come through the ranks as you suggested. Was lucky enough to become the academy manager, and I was talking to the chairman today, and we was talking about the likes of Charlie's, the Steve Colemans, the Lee Closes, the Bradley Frasers, Tom Nicholas of this world, Reece Tyson, KR, I could name them all, and it brings back so many fond memories. And then to become the assistant manager with Ian Allenson, who I hold in high regard. He was massive for my development, as is Mario's. He was a very good man manager, and he gave us the luxury to get on with our job in the training ground. And unfortunate for Ian, he couldn't sustain the job in terms of what it takes to be a National League manager, along with his job at Carlsberg. And he then left. I remember it so clearly. I was at a christening, my niece's christening, and he rang me, the chairman, and he said, Ian's handed his resignation in. And I said, no. And he went, yeah. And he said, what do you think? My exact words were, I'm ready. I was nowhere near ready. Like I said before, it could have been my first and last job. The pressure that year was horrible. I remember the chairman would follow me home sometimes and come into my local boozer after games of football because he knew that I took it personally and he didn't want me taking it home. So them sort of things I look at and go, the care and attention he gave me even after a month or 2 months in the job. And I'm not being funny, we didn't win back-to-back games all season that year. And we were in a position where I remember it at Halifax, and we go 2-0 down, we go 2-2 and we lose it in the last 2-3 minutes, and my whole world comes crushing down because I don't want to fail personally or with this football club. And then we play Southport and we lose that, and the man takes us out for a curry. And you think, what are you doing? I want to go home. And I have to say that was probably the biggest turning point for this football club. For us to go out, the hair on the back of my neck's just gone up, and have all the players, and he says, phones down, don't want phones, I want us time. And we then go to Aldershot. Connor Clifford rifles one in the top bin. And I probably shouldn't say this, Dave Rock's done us a worldie. We then play Guiseley at home, win 1-0, Delano Sam York. And then we go to Welling, and what he's good at, he galvanises the community. And there's 300, 400 strong in the stand. And yeah, listen, that day will live long in my memory, because we wouldn't have had the 11th finish the year after, the 4th finish in Wembley. If we wasn't successful that year, we wouldn't have all these memories we've created in that time. And did I fold? I don't fold. That's not in my nature. I've not been brought up like that, but I did have a wobble. And I remember the conversation I sat in there, and he said it, I'll give you the job for a reason, because you're the best man for the job. Now keep me up. And yeah, I took stock. And if it wasn't probably for that conversation, if it probably wasn't for that curry night after Southport, I don't know where I'd be and where this football club would be. So again, the man has to take immense pride in terms of what he did to galvanise me fundamentally, who needed to lead the troops, galvanise the dressing room to ensure that we got the results we needed, and galvanise a community and a club to ensure that he went down to Welling and supported us. For me to sit here now, potentially going forth after a potential win at Dover on Tuesday evening, to go into Wembley, to beating Blackpool, to beating Southend, to get into the third round proper. So everything happens for a reason. I honestly believe that hard opening year for me was the catalyst for my relationship with the chairman, and we've had some fallings out, and I've been right on some occasions, he's been right on a lot more. But in terms of my relationship and the history I have with this football club, yeah, I'm here for the long run.
So you talk about that Welling game, and some people compare that great escape to what we witnessed in the Premier League that year with Leicester winning the Premier League against all odds. We were little Boreham Wood, no more than 500-600 fans in the National League, playing against Football League giants who shouldn't be there. Let's say it's Cheltenham or Wrexham and the like. But we come out of that period. We then embark on a new period, I'd like to think. A period where Luke Garrard gets a real opportunity to put his stamp on the team. Whether that be defensively sound, and always have been. But you start to bring in players like Kenny Davis, Angelo Balanta, Morgan Ferrier, players who had never graced Meadow Park before. Do you feel you've taken the club to a new level in that regard?
I think we have. I think little things, we have a players' house now. We have, prior to COVID, we do breakfasts and lunches. We've got the best facilities in the National League, fact. The best pitch outside the Prem, fact. That's not my doing. I get given the resources, the funds to put very good sides together. I have that luxury in terms of recruitment, walking players around this place. Junior Rice comes in the building. I give him a 6 p.m. deadline. He rings me back half hour later since walking around the place. Tells you everything. And we was always in a situation where the club was going like that, and I'm talking the facilities, behind the scenes, the analyst suites, all the new builds with inside the club, and the pitch was probably going a little bit on an upward curve because you go from finishing 19th to 11th in your second season, but there was a gulf, and I honestly believe we've narrowed that gulf, and I believe the aspirations of myself and the chairman and what he views the facility and where that wants to get to, I think we've narrowed that gulf between the personnel on the pitch. And you allude to some of them players: Mark Ricketts, Kieran Murtagh, Tom Champion, Dave Stevens, Bruno Andrade, Grant Smith, them personnel that come in that we attracted in our second and third year in the National League. And look at the likes of the personnel we're bringing in now. Cab Tishimanga, who was courted by a hell of a lot of clubs prior to coming and sign for us. Matt Reed. These are all personnel that either had their careers at a level above or aspirations to get to that level, but they've chose Boreham Wood. And for that reason, I honestly believe, yes, I have a say in that. My energy, the way we work, players talk, but the facilities does it for me. And in the off-season, when the curtailment of the league was happening in April, May, I was reading a lot of Twitter, social media, where clubs were paying players 70%, 80%, and I never had to call a player to tell them that they were getting 80%. I never had to tell them tell your missus that you'll have to scrimp and save on this and this because we're only going to pay you that and that. I had the luxury of ringing them up saying, look, your money's going in, it's all 100%. And as a manager, I'm not being funny, in the long run, when that gets put out and people know and understand that we're a club that pay on time, we pay 100% even throughout a pandemic, people want to come and play for this football club. And I honestly believe we're seeing the fruits of that labour. I've got players in that building now that want to return that favour to our chairman. Fact. And I can see it. And what he's done for that group, what he's doing for me, what he's doing for the day-to-day staff, I know we want to go the extra mile. And we are. I honestly believe we are. I think that we started off a little bit sloppy. Yeah, I thought the performances were good. But as a group of men, you can't ask for more from the chairman. And what he's done for this place, what he's done for this community, it's outstanding. He's left a legacy. He's left an unbelievable legacy. And if I can do half of what he's achieved in 22 years, I'll be over the moon.
So you touched on it a little bit, and I think you're well on your way to etching your name into Bournemouth history. I mean, I think you already have. But let's talk about that third season. What a group you put together alongside the chairman. You mentioned some of the names that came in that summer, whether it be Jamie Turley, Kane Smith, Dean Wells. You already had David Stevens in the building, Ricky Shakes, Kieran Murtagh, Mark Ricketts, Angelo Balanta, and the like, Bruno Andrade. And you look at that, what a season you had. You end up getting to the playoff final and unfortunately we didn't quite get over the line. Is it that sort of experience that drives you on to want to go and put Bournemouth in the Football League?
Yeah. Best and worst day of my life. I've said it on many meetings. I've said it on many interviews. To walk this town out at Wembley is amazing. Is absolutely amazing. To see the 4,500, 5,000 fans, all my family there. Yeah, honestly, stop the game, don't even kick off. I'm a happy man. But unfortunately, I failed. I've relived Wembley over and over and over again, and all the things that I'd do different. And that comes with experience, don't get me wrong. But to achieve that, as Bournemouth, to go to Wembley in the third season of asking is some achievement. But I failed. We failed. We didn't achieve what we set out to achieve, and that was to get in the EFL. Speaks to Turley, I still speak to Wellesley. Obviously, we still got Kane Smith, Danny Woodards, Dave Stevens, Champ, Rico Kears, all still in the building. I talk to Morgs and Bruno regularly. That was something that group achieved, and I know the chairman thinks the same. If you could bottle the feeling at Sutton, my God, you'd sell that for some money. That's my best moment. Millwall was amazing Saturday, absolutely amazing. Third round. Sutton away is a song. As I was driving home, there's a song that come on, and every time that song gets played, yeah, I get very emotional because leaving Sutton, driving through London, I was on top of the world because I knew 7 days later we was going to the Arches down the North Cirque to walk my team out at Wembley. For that third year, had a lot. Had the Blackpool moment. Had the Fylde moment here in the quarters. Yes, you lose Turley. Yes, you lose Morgs. Yes, you lose Kane Smith, which is massive blows going into that. And I have to say, I honestly felt Sutton was a game too far. We do a test for Rico pre-game, and to be given the nod that he was going to be fit was a boost for us, for him to walk us out at Sutton. And you watch all the celebrations at the end of the game, the boys just fall to their knees lying on top of each other because the amount of emotions that are going through them. They exerted a lot of energy in the Fylde game on the Thursday evening to then play Sutton on the Sunday. Yeah, the emotions were running high, but again, what a moment. But unfortunately we failed on our quest to get into the EFL.
So you look at that next year and you lose some huge players in that team. Morgan Ferrier goes to Walsall. Bruno Andrade signs for Lincoln. Grant Smith signs for Lincoln. Kane Smith is out for the season. Jamie Turley returns from his loan and signs for Orient. How difficult was it that next season in your preparations, knowing that you didn't have those players in the building? We got off to a great start, but did you know deep inside that it was going to be a tough season in store?
We went to 7th after beating Sutton 4-0, and I was on the Wednesday, manager rang me and was like, how'd you do it? You lost these personnel and you brought in this, this and this. And I'm like, trust me, I know what's under the bonnet. I spoke to the chairman that evening. It wasn't being disrespectful to that group of players, but I said to him, I'll bite your hand off for a top half finish, because I knew that the longevity of them individuals that come in wasn't going to be a consistency. And I spoke to the chairman about it, and after that game, we lost Josh Amira through injury, we lost Andrew Balanta to Dagenham, and we lost Danny Woodard to injury. And that was 3 big contributors to that team that was 7th after, I believe, 15, 16 games. Never found our feet. And we had conversations where he was about 28, 30 games in. We was like, okay, we'll use this as, we can't get into the playoffs, we're not going to get relegated. Yes, let's use it as a pre-season to get really bolstered for the following year. And we were sliding down the table, and we were getting ever so close to that relegation zone. And I don't know, it was tough, because I'll be honest with you, I was always looking at the personnel and seeing, why wasn't he like Grant Smith? Why ain't he like Morgan Ferrier? Why ain't he like Bruno Andrade? And I probably had a hangover as much as anyone with the year before, and that's coming with experience. I was my 4th season in, and I think I was 33 at the time, and I needed to park the Wembley year, put that to bed, and work with this group of players to ensure that we were better on the training pitch, and then took that onto the football pitch. And it was tough. That year again was tough. I think we had a 12-13 point buffer continuously. Even if we lost, I believe the likes of Aldershot were losing. So we always had that 12-13 point buffer. But when you've gone 19th to 11th to 4th, and reality hits, and you're then finishing 17th, 18th, 19th again, yeah, it slaps you in the face, because you want to go there and you want to be continuous and consistent in your performances throughout the seasons. And that was tough to take that year, because, like I said, I alluded to it, I think I had a hangover the year before.
So fast forward a year on, you've obviously learnt a lot from that season, and you sat down with the chairman and chief executive, and you made it a real mission of yours to not only recruit on the pitch but within your backroom staff. And we're overhauling the backroom staff. Vic Akers comes in, Martin Brennan comes in, Elliot Lum comes in. All I'm sure helped with what was a fantastic season. But you've gone and built another fantastic side, more of the ilk from 2 seasons ago. When you look at your time back at the club, not including this season, is that the best group of players you've managed?
I believe so. I think we had it all. Experience of getting to Wembley, experience of enjoying that togetherness, because they've built that unity throughout the time they've been together. The likes of Dave Stevens, Danny Woodard, Ricky Shakes, Tom Champion, Mark Ricketts, Kieran Murtagh. These are all players that have had moments and memories with each other. And I honestly believed that we was going to go one better than the 2 seasons before, and that wasn't the case. In terms of recruitment, you're only as good as your recruitment. I don't care how good you are on the training grid, how good your sessions are, recruitment's massive. And look at what we done. Nathan Ashmore, Adi Youssef, Matt Reed, these are people that all come in season. If we had that mindset in the time we went to Wembley, no disrespect to Davey, to Quigley, to Harfield, if we had a Matt Reed, and Nathan Ashmore, and Adi Youssef, and Adam May, and you lost the likes of Kane Smith, Morgan Ferrier, Jamie Turley, you've got big, strong personnel coming in. And I think that's something that I've learnt, that in-season recruitment needed to improve, and we addressed that. And I felt last year our in-season was very good. I think the curtailment of the league didn't help us, didn't aid us, because we were going very good guns. We played Barrow here, who were, I believe, were unbeaten in 16. I think we were unbeaten in 18 at the time, and that's the best National League game I've ever been involved in as a player and a manager. It was 2 proper sides having a go. And I honestly believe, being 21 unbeaten, we would have got slightly higher up the division and maybe only having 1 game to win to get to Wembley. That wasn't the case. And Harrogate quite deservedly won the game in the semi-final. I felt that they started the game superbly. Was we a bit shell-shocked? I don't know. Was some personnel didn't turn in? Listen, it's all by the by. It's all in the past now, and we have to learn from that. And this year, like I said, this group have had moments together. We've added to this group. We've brought in some strong personnel, and we want to achieve what we've set out since the Wembley year, and that's to get out of this division into the EFL. And we'll work smart, we'll work hard, and that's the aim for us this season.
So what we've tried to do is obviously paint a picture of your journey at the club, and to be honest, I don't think any conversations we have could probably do it justice. There's probably nuances and bits and bobs that have gone over that time, and stories you could tell which haven't even scratched the surface of what we've touched on. But what we can say is that you've been at the club in one capacity or another for 15 years, going into your 16th year. You've been manager of this football club now for 5 seasons. You've taken us on the pitch to a new level that new fans have become to expect, and the old fans still pinch themselves. So does all the backroom staff and people who have been around this club for some time. In the next 3 years to come, and we say it's at least the next 3 years, because I'm sure, just like you, the club will want that relationship to go on beyond those 3 years. What do you envisage? What is your aspirations for the club during that time?
I won't put a lid on it. I won't say where we can get to, because I honestly believe, I remember when I walked in this place with the tin stand opposite, the old Astro, the 2 changing rooms that were home and away. There was a main bar. There was a function room. This place has gone from strength to strength, and the chairman says it, small steps. And I wouldn't think that if we was in League 2 competing, that wouldn't be out of our remit. I honestly believe that. I think we're a side that do things properly, have the right loyalty and morality in terms of where we want to get to as a football club. Obviously, the aspirations of everyone involved is to get out the National League into the EFL, and that's, you got to work hard. You see the likes of Torquay, Wrexham, Chesterfield, Hartlepool, Yeovil, Notts County that are all doing the same thing, and it's not easy to win the National League. It's tough to get out of the National League, but that's something that we're going to set our eyes on, and that target in the 3 years, that's what we want to do. And like I said, I thank everyone from May, Loretta, Jodie, Mandy, to all the staff you alluded to the likes of Vic, Martin, Elliot, now Dodsey, Cams, all of the staff, the physio team, Megan, Mike, Steve. It's a group effort. I've just been announced as the manager a month for December. That's not my award, that's our award. That's what we all do. I'm not being funny, I don't get the luxury of doing that. Everyone else does all the man hours and all the work that goes into it. I get the luxury of having a 90-minute game of football and having a say on that. But as a group of people, we won the December award. We achieved something that month with a 100% record that we want to continue for the remainder of the season, that will give us a chance of achieving our goals and our dreams. And that's what we want to do. We want to create moments and memories as a group of people, because I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else other than this squad, this players, this team, this club. So for me, yeah, you work hard for team, you die for your family, and I honestly believe this is my family.